The history of my masjid is one that I'm actually pretty proud of. I don't know a lot of the details, but essentially the masjid was made out of necessity, and I think that's the reason why the community is so strong, is the fact that the masjid was made in, I believe, like 2000, and we had a couple groups of like Nigerian Muslims who wanted a masjid for themselves. And I believe what happened was one of the members was into like buying houses, like they were into like buying and flipping property, and so they found like a property that was relatively cheap in Brooklyn. I believe that's what happened. And so he talked to the person who owned it, and they were able to buy it. So when the masjid was originally started, it was just a building, and people came together and created the masjid that it is now, put a lot of work into it, and now the masjid is the way it is. And it's like, it's a masjid that you can be proud of, and it's like, it's something that literally just started from, I want to say nothing, it started from nothing, and you just work up slowly. So, and I think that that's a good strategy and process to build masjids, because I think that's the most important thing, is like having a masjid and having a community. I think there should be a masjid every other block, and
NMC has gone through many renovations, like they fixed everywhere, but like I remember when we were there when it was just a warehouse, like, because it was a warehouse, and they renovated it into a masjid, but it was still very like not like not done. And they didn't have no money, and we literally watched like the revitalization of that mosque. Like they raised money, like they took the spare room and made it into another room to where they can make more money. Like it was definitely like a very beautiful transformation.
I was fortunate enough to stumble onto part of the history, ironically not directly from the mosque. I found it out from a mosque-associated program that I went to called Oasis. So they used to run something called Summer Bash. It's a end of July kind of celebration of the year. And in learning the history of Oasis, I stumbled onto the history of the mosque, how it came to be, like what brought the idea of this community together. And that's where I kind of got the general idea. Now, the specifics of like dates and stuff like that, I'm the last person you should ever ask a date for. Like, I barely remember my own birthday. But I stumbled upon it. I can definitely not say that it's something that's taught, spoken about, or even like addressed. So the kids that are ironically now calling me uncle don't know what happened. They don't know why there's a parking lot now and we got this nice big building. They don't know about the three family house days where like the front side of the mosque was like one apartment and the back side was just like a curtain. They don't know about that. They don't know about like the programs that we used to have, like being able to go play soccer with your alfas, and like they don't know about those small little like those like childhood memories that came from just being in community.
The proverb is always, it takes a village to raise a few, or for one child. That's what a child is. A lot of these people that I grew up with, some of them became my closest friends, best friends, my brothers and sisters, no matter what. I mean, when something goes down, when there's an event, no matter how distant we may be, I mean, there's some people I haven't spoken to in a while, but I know if something happens, I'll be there.
The community, is like kind of a family. Like, we all treat each other like family. So if I were to bring you to Jersey, or you were to come to Jersey and I, introduce you to the mosque and things like that, you'd be welcome with open arms. Like, you wouldn't feel kind of ostracized or like everybody's looking at you. It would be more of like people are excited to, get to know you, get to know about you, where you're from, and they'd really be willing to lend a hand. So you definitely feel at home, you feel comfortable.
So growing up in the masjid that I was in, the Nigerian immigrants, they weren't really flexible in like growing. They were more so trying to have like a structure and creating a foundation, which is important as well, but there wasn't much like flexibility. They wanted something in a standard way, and it wasn't until like I got towards like high school, not even high school, maybe college, they tried to become more flexible because of the younger generations coming up, and they realized like one structure doesn't work for everyone, and they realized their mistake, like a lot of mistakes from doing that.
on Friday after Jummah, usually in the evening, there's also things that we do for, it's mainly for younger people, but anybody can come. And it's essentially kind of the same thing where they ask, you know, it's not Arabic class, so it's more questions about the deen. And I think that is like a different thing. Like, it's one thing to be able to read the Quran and things like that. It's another to be able to understand it. So those programs are geared towards more of understanding your religion rather than knowing about it.
Right now, I'm currently in a group called Quran Connections. We spend a couple Saturdays every month. We just started just reading the Quran and getting to understand like what the Quran means. That's something that's really important to me because I never got the chance to be able to connect with the Quran in that way, or at least get an understanding of it. So I will say when it comes to like the community, it's something that we are trying to build and also working on, and I'm just happy that I get the chance to be able to, you know, connect with the people in that way.
I would say people tend to think Houston is like a party city, or like people go out there like a lot, which is, you know, kind of true. But I also feel like there's a lot of like, I don't know, like family kind of culture like rooted into like the city. Like I feel like people that live there have lived there for a long time. They've seen like Houston from like back then to like what it is now. And so I think like some people like they'd be like, oh, I want to go to Houston because it's my birthday, like, you know. But I think that, you know, from someone who grew up there, like I see it differently. Like I see Houston as like home, you know what I mean? Not just somewhere to have a good time.
One misconception I'd say people always have about New York is that New Yorkers are rude. And I feel like New Yorkers are not rude. It's just there's too many people to deal with certain things, you know. In certain states where there's not a lot of people, there's a lot of like I don't know, like there's a lot of static. So like for example, if you don't like somebody or you don't like something somebody does, some people might just walk away. But in New York, you might as well just handle it there. It doesn't even have to be in a bad way, but I feel like when you're coming from somewhere else, it's just kind of jarring. But it does have its strengths. Like for example, if you want help from somebody, they're going to help you and then send you on your way. It'll take 5 seconds. There's no extra talk and all those extra things that need to happen. So
That because we're small, we're boring. Like I don't know why everyone thinks Rhode Island, just because they think there's like a lack of people in that small state. But we are big in our own way. We are huge in our own way, and we are extremely fun.
I think another thing is like how like much of a melting pot like the Muslim community is. Like growing up, like my dad, which I'm grateful that he did this, but like he never, like I didn't grow up strictly at Muminin or one of the Nigerian masjids. Like I know people that only like go pray there, they only go to Jummah there, you know. But like one thing about my dad is like he lived all over the United States, all over the world. So like he wanted to make sure that like we were able to like experience other cultures while being Muslim. So like I grew up like going to like a lot of Pakistani masjids, a lot of Arab masjids and stuff. Like, but it's like I feel like there's a lot of like diversity when it comes to the Muslim community in Houston. Like, and there's like huge masajid like all over. There's so many masajid in Houston. That's another thing that makes it unique. Like Houston's a really big city, and like every 5-10 miles is gonna be a masjid, like a big masjid, like a, you know what I mean? So
I'll say the unique thing about the Muslims in my state is that although we vary from like different origins, I think a lot of us come from different places. We all find a way to mesh together and kind of do things together, and it's seamless.
I would say one thing is New York itself is kind of a unique city, you know. So I feel like the number one thing that makes the masjid stand out is the fact that it's so strong and it's just in New York. When you have so many people that come in and out, and you know there's a place that they can go to where it's like there are people like you, that by itself is, you know, pretty good. You know, that's a really good strength.
Maryland is such like a diverse place. Like you will literally get like there's so many masjids, like especially in the PG County area, like, or in that like concentration where it's like there's Nigerian Muslim Council, you'll have the mosque for Senegalese, Sierra Leonean, you'll have like the Arabian, the Turkish, like, but then it's just like no matter what, everyone knows, okay, oh, if I can't make this one prayer, I could go to PGMA and pray this, or I could go to Turkish mosque and pray this, you know. But you know, the vibe of it all is just like it's it's really nice being from here because you're not the only one. Like, you know, some, like, there are some states where it's like, oh, like if I walk out with my abaya and hijab, it's like, ooh, what would people think? But Maryland, it's so like, we're so like, it's, everyone's used to it. Like nobody's ignorant to it. Like everyone's just like, even if they're not Muslim, Assalamu alaikum, sister, like they know about it. If you go out to DC, Baltimore, like it's, you know, I really love being from here because when you go to other spots, it's just like they don't get it. Like they don't really get the culture like it is over here.